I'm better. How are you? Good. Good morning. Come, come, whoever you are. You are welcome here. I love that. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. If you came alone or with others, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or how you speak or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. If you come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, then you are indeed welcome here. Welcome. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. This is a congregation gathered in love since 1833 to seek wholeness and work for justice in the world. Oh, my name, I'm Michael Martin. My pronouns are he and him. We're glad you're here. Happy Easter. If you're a visitor, we invite you to raise your hand so that we can properly greet you. So we are a lay-led congregation. What that basically means is we have no paid minister. So on Sunday mornings, we do ask you ministers, other religious professionals, leaders from social justice organizations, and our own members to be voices of hope, courage, and personal or intellectual transformation from our pulpit. We have two worship leaders today, and we're so glad to have them, Beverly Rainbolt and Justin Wolfe. And now we can switch to the chalice lighting. So if you please stand in body or spirit and join me in singing or saying the chalice lighting that is in your order of service. Okay. A large gray rock is cracked down the middle, where many small, colorful stones are caught. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of truths. Please remain standing, and we'll sing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On, an English song, which is in your gray hymnal.
That hails a new creation.
Thank you for that. It's now time for all ages. After the time for all ages, children are welcome to remain in the chapel for the remainder of the service or to spend time in the kids' room, which is just through this door, take a right, and then it's your first one on the right, first door. Please ask a greeter if we can give you further directions. So it's the time for all ages.
Yes. Jim, the mic. Yeah, there we go.
So, good morning. I meant to get, this story involves animals. I meant to get some animals, stuffed animals from the kids' room, but didn't have time. So if you can, just imagine in your head a wolf and a turtle or terrapin. So this story is a trickster story taken from the Cosati Native American tribe here in Louisiana. It's a short one, and I imagine you might be familiar with this one. All right, so here it is. This is The Wolf and the Terrapin from Myths and Tales of the Southeastern Indians. While traveling about, a terrapin met a wolf, and they talked together. And the wolf said, "Let's race." "All right," said the terrapin. "You can't beat me," said the wolf. The terrapin said, "The one who reaches the fourth hill and stands upon it wins. On the fourth day, we will race." Then the terrapin hunted up 4 of his friends. Do you see what's going to happen? He had said, "I will put on a headdress of white feathers." It's kind of, yes. But I don't think, hopefully he won't eat it, right? And he placed one of his friends on each of the hills. Remember, they're going to race. On the 4th day, the contestants met. They said, "Go." They ran, and the wolf went ahead and disappeared. Then he reached the terrapin at the first hill. The wolf caught and passed it. When he came to the next hill, the terrapin seemed to have gotten there ahead of him. When the wolf came towards the 4th hill, he was almost exhausted and held his mouth open. When he got to the last one, the first terrapin had reached it. When the wolf reached after him, that is the finish line, the terrapin said, "Aha, now I've beaten you." He laughed at him. This one is a little scary. And as he kept on laughing, the wolf became angry and yelled at him. But the terrapin won the race. Guys, how do you think, that's the end, how do you think the terrapin won? What do you think? Good. The terrapin won by tricking the wolf. What's that? I think it was roller skates. Roller skates? The terrapin tricked the wolf. It was his 4 friends on the hill. Because a wolf can beat a terrapin, right? A wolf turtle any day. So maybe, what do we learn from that? That's exactly right. Yes, that's exactly right. You must read a lot of stories. He said the tortoise and the hare. So maybe to win something or to win a contest, you can trick with your mind and not with your fists, right? Or with how fast you are. So maybe it's your mind where the power is. All right, that's our story. Thank you for listening.
Okay, wait. We have another time for all ages. Now, I'm looking, tricksters do that, I'm looking at our kids, and this activity really does require use of the alphabet, but mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, or auntie, or grandma, whoever's here that knows the alphabet can help them, or they can go into the kids' room, either way. But what you want to do is go ahead and go back to your seats, and Genevieve, you and the greeters are going to pass out pencils and pens, please, greeters. We have baskets with pencils and pens. And if you will take out the insert in your order of worship, the insert is the thing inside the order of worship, or the disorder of worship as we're calling it today. Okay? So, while people are sitting down, I have a question. Who can name our 7 UU shared values? Without looking, I forgot. Anybody want to try to name all 7? Okay? Without looking.
Pluralism. Come on, everybody, help me out.
Okay, do I hear transformation? Has anybody got a justice? How about generosity? Okay, so here's the thing. I've been worried I can't remember them, and I suddenly remembered there's this thing called a mnemonic device. And it's named after the Greek triple goddess Nemesne, who was the goddess of memory, and she's who gave the poets the ability to memorize. Now if she could just help me find my glasses. Okay, where did I put the glasses? All right, so what we're going to do and there's all kinds of mnemonic devices. What anybody want to gather? What's the one we've all used? The alphabet song, right? You put something to music and you sing it. So somebody I know placed high in a contest for the numbers of pi because she found a song with the numbers of pi. So that's one thing. How many of you have used the trick for a poem or an ode? How many of you have used 30 days has September, April, May, and November? All the rest have 31, except February, who has to be different. Okay, so there's the thing with your knuckles to remember which ones have 31. How many of you know that? You just start with your knuckles and you go January, February, March, April, May, June. And if it lands on the knuckle, it's a 31-day month. If it lands between the knuckles, it's not. Okay, so there's other tricks. One of them is an acronym. An acronym is where you take the first letter of whatever you're trying to memorize, the list, and you make something with it. Like if I said Holmes, that would help me remember the Great Lakes. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie. There you go. So, and if I said, I lost my page. Anyway, there's a whole sentence for remembering the planets. So what we're going to do today is make up the silliest sentence you can to remember the shared values. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. And Dwayne is going to play Easter music for us while you do that. And then I'll let y'all share the silly statements you've come up, the mnemonic device to remember our shared values. Thank you, Dwayne. Yes. Okay, who's got one? Who wants to go first? I know everybody's got one. I see one way in the back. Get my steps in. Okay.
Or are we mad-libbing it? Okay. Iguanas play Jenga Tuesdays, gladly enjoying lasagna.
Who's next? Come on. Oh.
I don't know why, but I'm very proud of this. In paradise, juice tastes good every lunch.
That's an easy one. Okay, Eileen.
We're doing nonsensical here, right? Okay. If picked, juicy tomatoes give everyone love.
Everyone loves is good.
Well, we're on the same theme. For lunch, we like to have ices with purple juice and tangerines, goat cheese, eggplant, and the luncheon.
Okay, how about somebody from this side? Where? Oh, in the back, of course.
I plan just to get every letter.
All right. Anybody? Okay.
International pundits judge through generating eternal love.
Y'all are great. Y'all really have your creativity caps on and your memory caps, because you'll remember these, right? Anybody else before we? Justin, you didn't do one?
I prefer jelly-topped goobers every lifetime.
Oh, y'all are great. Let me see what I did, because I didn't cheat. I just did it right now, and I said, I pretend just the greatest elephant lore. Okay. All right, so if the kids that want to go back want to go back now. And the rest of us will get centered in our chairs, and we'll take a deep breath in and out. Oh, yeah. As we get ready for our joys, it is the first of the month. It's not the first of the month, it's the fifth of the month, but it's the first Sunday of the month. So it is time for our joys and sorrows. And
I'm almost there.
okay. So be thinking, if this is at the time when we come forward, if you would come around this way, please. And
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you would like to come forward, you may come forward and release a stone into the water in silence or with a brief verbal expression of a sorrow or joy. I will start, just since I'm already up here, but people, if you want to, you could just gather here. I will offer a sorrow and a joy together. Maybe I think this is the way I'm trying to think about sorrow more these days. A longtime friend, a musician, one of the greatest singer-songwriters in Austin I ever knew, a guy named John D. Graham, passed away just a few days ago after a really terrible battle with back surgery and other things, but he was an amazing singer. And yeah, just fantastic. And I'm so rather sad that he is gone. I feel so sorry for his family, his friends, for all his fans. But I am so lifted up with the joy of his music, of the connection. I've enjoyed very little as much as watching all of the heartfelt videos and photos and stories people have spread about what he brought to them and brought to the world. So joy and sorrow.
I have, I guess, a joy and sorrow also. I'm so happy after more than 10 years of my daughter being in doctorate, getting her doctorate and postdoc, that she is going to be having her first professorship position in Maine at Colby College this fall. I'm so thrilled for her. And at the same time, I'm so saddened that our friend who is from Iran doesn't have the same opportunities to be able to get a position that she is worthy of with the climate that we have in this country today.
Good morning. I have joy, and I would say I have sorrow, but my joy overweighs whatever kind of sorrow that I have in my heart this morning. I went yesterday for a homegoing celebration of a person who I love dearly. The joy is that she came into my life. Her name was Miguel Elizabeth Eli. And she was a wonderful person and a wonderful inspiration for all of what she went through in her lifetime, just to keep living and not complaining, not really. So my joy is that she came into my life. The sorrow could be that perhaps I won't see her smile. I won't hear her voice in the way that she was kind enough to offer it to me through the years. But like I said, I'm not going to let that part that would make me sad not consider the joy and celebrate her as a part of my life. So I'm so grateful that she came into my life.
Hi, I'm Eileen. I'm feeling a lot of joy just seeing all of these faces, new and old, in this congregation and room today. I also have a great joy for being a guest, an invited guest because of my attendance here as a UU member to the Jewish Voices for Peace Seder, which is part of my origin. And I think not just the invitation, but the experience of watching these young and enthusiastic people reimagining and questioning in good Jewish lineage, to question and to challenge and to reimagine what their faith and their values look like and how that affects the world. And it was so courageous and it was beautiful, and I'm so grateful.
I have great joy this week because my daughter Camille and her husband Greg welcomed little Alice Rose Tucker on Tuesday into our family, weighing in at 8 pounds, 4 ounces, and 21 inches long. It's a long baby. And also glad that they live here and that my son Tucker and their spouse Gabby have been living with Camille and Greg all week, taking care of both mom and baby, and just feeling the love and the joy and the good fortune of having my family close by and expanding. So.
Thank you, everyone.
And now that you're settled, let's breathe in and out. and find our own joy or embrace our sorrows this morning. Let us at this time lift up the names of those that were mentioned in the joys and sorrows, and also lift up any names that you would like to add. If you have a name to lift up, please call it out. So this morning, to start our moment of silence, before our moment, 2 moments of silence, I'm going to read a prayer that I found that fits this service perfectly. It's called, Lord, make me a channel of disturbance, the reverse St. Francis prayer. And when I say Lord, for me, it means a lot of things. It means a plea, a prayer is a plea, and Lord, it can be self. Sometimes I just put self. Self, make me an agent of disturbance. Or I think community. Community, make me an agent of whatever. So you fill in where it says Lord, whatever means to you. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. Wherein there is apathy, let me provoke. Where there is compliance, let me bring questioning. Where there is silence, may I be a voice. Where there is too much comfort and too little action, grant disruption. Where there are doors closed and hearts locked, grant the willingness to listen. When laws dictate and pain is overlooked, when tradition speaks louder than need, grant that I may seek rather to do justice than to talk about it. Disturb us, O Lord, O self, O community, to be with as well as for the alienated, to love the unlovable as well as the lovely. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. And now we'll have our 2 minutes of silence followed by our meditation song. pull out your resistance reading for our responsible reading this morning. And as usual, one of us will read the plain text and you'll respond with we invite you to respond with the italicized text. As UUs, we are called to something different.
It's about the journey we take.
We are in this together.
Stop grumbling.
Tricksters are troublemakers, game players.
It's true. They shake our worldview.
But there are rules for a reason.
So it is, and so we covenant.
Blessed be.
Well, I'm going to date myself here with some of my musical references, but I feel like in the last few times I've been up here, I've been channeling the mood of The Cure or the Smiths the last few times. That's probably because it's not surprising given the world out there. But I've been wanting to try to bring a different kind of energy, and I've really been lifted up by some of the great activists out there trying to fight the powers that be. But I'm not talking Chuck D this morning. I'm thinking more about Flava Flav, talking Rock Lobsters and the B-52s kind of energy. If you remember last fall, when ICE had Portland under siege, the good folks of Stumptown came out to protest. They surrounded ICE headquarters to let them know how they felt, but also to gum up the works. And if you were like me, you might have been catching up on the news. Good Lord, I do not know why I even watch it. But watching ICE agents lined up, dressed up for war. Helmets, shields, body armor, everything designed to project readiness for what Trump called a war-ravaged hellscape. And then the camera pans, and there, right in their face, is a guy in a giant inflatable green frog costume. And he's just dancing this goofy dance that made me laugh out loud, and I probably looks more obscene without the frog costume on, but he's just doing like this. And it just made me laugh, and I needed that. It made me smile, but it also made me realize just how ridiculous the whole thing was. One side, you've got uniforms, a mask, angry man babies in body armor, and on the other, a frog, wobbling, dancing, mocking. And in that moment, the dancing frog just flipped the script. I started out chuckling, thinking, who's that guy? And what the heck is he doing? And then the real thought hit me. What is wrong with these ICE agents and this administration? The frog's right. This is a goddamn clown show. That dancing frog got me thinking about tricksters and fools and the way they help us resist domination, not by fighting force with force, not by overpowering it, but by unmasking it, revealing the hollowness and the absurdity of those who seek to replace love with hate and freedom with repression. And you find trickster figures all over the world. They're an integral part of human culture. Just check out, I'm gonna give you a quick sampling from the world out there. In West Africa and the Caribbean, there is Anansi, the spider who wins the stories from the gods and gives wisdom to the world. In African American and Caribbean traditions, you've got Brer Rabbit and Compère Lapin, who survive predators and the powerful through their quick wits and sly tongues. In France, there's Reynard the fox, loved by the peasants for outwitting the Lion King, and we're having a good time too. In the Pacific Northwest, the raven stole the sun and brought light into the world. In Ireland, there's the puka, the mischievous rabbit-headed goatman shapeshifter, whose scary mischief reminds us about how little control we have over the world that we live in. And, I was thinking in Easter, Jesus was a kind of trickster too, right? Telling us that the rules, the order of this hierarchy was wrong, that we should love one another. These are boundary crossers, rule breakers. Some are playful, some are dangerous, some are a little bit of both. But they help us question the rules that people put out there before us. So the historian James Carse comes at these same questions from a slightly different angle in a great little book called Finite and Infinite Games, a vision of life as play and possibility. It was big, I think, in the late 80s. If you've never read it, it's a nice little read. And Carse argues that there are two kinds of games. First ones he calls finite games. These are games that are played to win. They have fixed rules, fixed roles, clear outcomes. So think of something like a courtroom trial or a basketball game or an election. These are bounded contests with winners and losers, and most importantly, they come to an end. And there's nothing wrong with these kinds of games per se, but you've got to remember that the rules are never neutral. They're structured by people, and often those with power, like meritocracy in a world of structural inequality. And then there's what Carse calls infinite games, like life, parenting, artistic creation. You don't play these to win. I hope you don't play these to win, because you can't win. You play to keep on playing. They're open-ended, adaptive, relational. The goal is not victory, but the continuation of play, more players, more possibility, in the end, more life. And in a world defined by finite games, where the powerful set the rules, the trickster turns the whole thing on its head. The trickster says, I don't need your stinking rules. I'm going to put on a giant inflatable frog costume and dance. I'm going to show you and everyone else the lie of your story. I'm going to boogie down and laugh and shine some light and joy into the miserable games you're trying to make us play. Me, I'll take the Portland Frogs game any day, because it shows that the goal of resistance is the creation of joy. It mixes things up, sows confusion, and it's an invitation to others. You can do this too. Come on, join in.
I got it.
Wait, what?
I got it.
Okay, what do you got?
Why, the pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true, right?
Oh, yeah, right. But there's been a change. They broke the chalice from the palace.
They broke the chalice from the palace?
And replaced it with a flagon.
And replaced it with a flagon?
With the figure of a dragon.
Flagon with a dragon.
Right.
But did you put the pellet in the poison in the vessel with the pestle?
No. The pellet with the poisons and the flagon with the dragon. The vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true.
The pellet with the poisons in the flagon with the dragon, the vessels in the pestle with the brew that is true.
Yeah, just remember that.
Okay. As the Jester of Kings and the King of the Jesters in the 1956 movie, The Court Jester, Danny Kaye as Hawkins, pretending he was Giacomo, was the perfect example of the probably romanticized medieval court jester. Folks, it's a dumb movie, but it is great fun. And Danny Kaye is superb. See, he is the epitome of the medieval court jester, singing, dancing, ad-libbing, wooing, wowing, improvising, being glib, flippant, daring, truth-telling, reluctantly, unwittingly, even heroic, distracting, annoying, and generally causing chaos. My kind of guy. Often to protect the rightful king, sometimes to hold the king in check, because the court jester could get away with it. But perhaps most of all, the jester provided comedic relief in real life and on the stage. A jester might be assigned to a court. A jester might be a community member traveling from village to village, sharing news and entertaining, distracting, and making lives a little more smileable, if you will. But the jester's job, like the tricksters, was to also disrupt, distract, call out. The scene Justin and I just did from the court jester doesn't so much represent disruption caused by the trickster through evil thoughts. In fact, what he was doing was bumbling through an attempted assassination that he was supposed to do, after which he would be killed. But it all worked out. He was trying to thwart the evil intent of the villain. The jester displays the flexibility, the agility, the ability to dance around reality. Shouldn't we all be able to do that? Dance around reality. The jester is entertainer, dancer, singer, musician, acrobat, juggler, pundit, secret holder, and secret sharer, and more. Here's the thing about the jester. The difference between the jester and the tricksters we have heard about, the raven, the spider, the wolf, the fox, the cocopelli, the jester is human. The jester is real. In fact, I come from a long line of jesters. Jesters is my mother's birth name. There are still jesters all over the Eastern Shore and on Chincoteague Island. My grandmother's name was Hallie Zenith Jester. And many's the day that I have regretted not taking some form of that as a pseudonym for writing, although she would have tapped my hand and said no. So it's important that the jester is not just a human, not just a member of the community, but a working person, a common person. In fact, in the movie, The Court Jester, he had to be made a knight before he could enter into a duel to his death with the evil knight. So that's important that we know that the jester is one of us. So they were playing the fool, the fool's ability to alter the narrative. That's important, the fool's ability to alter the narrative and raise the sound and the fury. As Isaac Asimov noted, that, of course, is the greatest secret of the successful fool, that he is no fool at all. Are you nobody's fool? Let us take this one step further and back to games, to the Joker, the one who can win or lose card games. The Joker was created in the United States during the Civil War. I did not know this. It was created as an add-on card to a game that was very popular then called Euchre. I also don't know that game, but it was added on and it took hold. We liked the jester. And now jesters are in every card deck, and there's not a protocol to follow, but sort of an agreement. This is your, between card companies, this is your costume and this is your style, etc. And there's, consistency there. So the Joker can be extremely good, or it can be, the Joker card can be an extremely good card to have, or a really bad one, depending on what game you're playing. Because the Joker doesn't always play well with others. As always, there is a cautionary tale. We must watch for the annoying jokester, the prankster, and make sure that they do not feed off the power of being a bully, or worse, the malevolent joker that we have seen played so terrifyingly by both Jack Nicholson and Joaquin Phillips. So how do we avoid the mean-spirited forces of the malevolent joker? How does one become an apprentice to the life of jesterhood? I can only tell you my story in an unsung song in the life of a life in progress. And this is a poem of mine that I've been working on all my life, called Guard Dogmas and Stray Catechisms. This is part one, the jester's defense. My offering for posting on the classroom walls next to the mandated 10 Commandments. I am the great y'all. That's my pronoun. If Uncle Walt can contain multitudes, so can I. I am the thunder perfect mind, and the fool you suffer wisely. That sounds like a lot, but I'm pretty chill about it. No costumes or anything. Origin stories are cool. If yours doesn't make sense, mine never did, rewrite it. My daughter says, this morning actually, she said, not knowing what I was doing, she posted, origin stories are just redemption stories in reverse. I didn't choose joy lightly. It chose me by the hardest, and I learned to go with it. Going with it does not mean letting go. Dark chocolate is the answer. The question is irrelevant. The seventh stage of grief is glitter, but you can go right to it if you need to. Glitter that grief, girl. A 10-page dissertation on grace sounds like a lot. Could you just explain divinity and pralines while you're at it? Purple Louisiana irises, Iris giganticarulia, are my Easter eggs. These are not written in stone. That'd be dumb, because I change them all the time. You probably think there's an end to this, but we never go away. We just get repurposed.
Jesters, jokers, and all the rest. As you can see, the problem of some tricksters is that they think they're beyond the game altogether. They want to play, but with no rules at all. But if there are no rules at all, then you're just playing by yourself. And that, says James Carse, is not a game at all. No one can play a game alone. Indeed, one cannot be human by oneself. There's no selfhood where there is no community. We do not relate to others as the persons that we are. We are who we are in relating to others. And they're doing the same. Our social existence has always been inescapably fluid. As in the Zen image, we are not the stones over which the stream of the world flows. We are the stream itself. Rules can evolve. They need to evolve, really, as the world changes around us. New people, new ways of being, new knowledge. We are challenged to adapt and to be ever more inclusive. And so we need some shared agreements, some recognition of dignity. covenant, you might say. Because without that, we risk a world as Hobbes described it, nasty, brutish, and short. And Hobbes may be right about a world without rules, but let me tell you, you do not want to live in a world of Hobbes' solution, for it is the finite of all finite games. An all-powerful authority, unbreakable rules, no room for refusal or change. Resistance gets you the sharp end of a pointy stick, usually with your head on top of it. Which brings us to our final trickster, whose story takes us through a life of possibility and the pitfalls that come from trying to play a game alone. It's an ancient story, first written down in 16th century China during the Ming Dynasty, but it comes from much older. The Monkey King was born from a magic stone composed of heaven and earth. He was born restless, curious, adventurous, and he lived in the forest with the other monkeys. And one day they were following a stream deep into the forest when they found a giant waterfall. "I wonder what's behind the water," said one monkey. And the others looked at him. Then they looked at the Monkey King.
Good question. Maybe we can jump behind the water.
"Yeah, that sounds good. That's a great idea. I bet I could do it," said another monkey. "Me too," said a third. And they whooped and cheered, but no one moved. They talked, they imagined, they hesitated, and then the Monkey King looked at them all.
You'll never discover anything if you just keep talking.
And so he leapt through the crashing water into the unknown. Whoa, he did it. Where'd he go? Well, behind the water. The Monkey King, he looked around in awe, and he then jumped back.
It's amazing. It's a cave. But not just a cave, it's a whole world. And there are fruit trees and fresh water, and the temperature's just right. It's like heaven on earth.
And it was. Inside, they found abundance, a life without want or fear. But the Monkey King grew restless, as was his nature.
There must be more. What am I supposed to do? Just stay here until I get old, die, get reincarnated, and do it all over again?
But he worried about more than just that. He worried that this ease would lead to stagnation, that without challenge, they would lose knowledge, they would lose wisdom. And so one day, he traveled far away until he encountered a monk.
Will you teach me? I want to know about things that have no name. I want to learn what is impossible.
All right. Well then, from now on, you shall have a new name. You will be Sun Wukong, meaning monkey awakened to emptiness. The monk saw in Sun Wukong the possibility that he could understand that all things exist interdependently, that nothing stands alone. And Sun Wukong learned quickly. He was curious, willing to take risks, to fail, and to try again.
I cannot believe how much I did not know and how much more there is to know.
Sun Wukong learned to jump impossible distances and mastered every known martial art. He learned magic and gained supernatural powers. He even learned to escape mortality. No reincarnation for him.
I can do anything.
The monk looked at him with serious eyes. Yes, but should you? There are limits. Sun Wukong looked at the monk, at his old master, with eyes of pity.
Why should I accept limits? Why should I remain small when I can become big?
And with that, he leapt up to heaven.
Is this the home of the gods? If there are gods here, why not me?
At first, his resistance seemed justified. Heaven was nothing if not a world of order, hierarchy, and domination. And no big surprise, the gods dismissed and mocked him. A lord of heaven. Okay, we proclaim you Lord of the Stables.
You call yourself gods, and yet you mock my greatness? You can clean your own stable, and you shall call me great sage, equal to heaven.
The gods laughed and plotted to break Sun Wukong. They sent thousands of heavenly warriors against him, but he defeated them all. And with each victory, things began to unravel. Order began to collapse, and the gods worried that he would tear the universe apart. And so they sought peace.
I will take nothing less than the throne of heaven. I have defeated thousands. I can defeat the rest if need be.
The heavenly gods, unsure what to do, called upon Buddha, who is in his eternal compassion, agreed to help and invited Sun Wukong to visit him.
Finally, the respect I deserve. Only the new emperor or heaven would be welcomed by the enlightened one.
Buddha welcomed Sun Wukong with a smile and said, "You must abandon your greed for vengeance and power. You must search for enlightenment and truth instead." This was not what Sun Wukong had expected.
Never. How dare you tell me what to do? My powers, my strength, my abilities are beyond compare.
The ever-patient Buddha smiled. Indeed, but what about wisdom, humility, and compassion?
You doubt my powers. I can do anything.
You might be right. How about this? And in the blink of an eye, Sun Wukong found himself standing in the palm of Buddha's hand. And Buddha looked at Sun Wukong and said, "If you can leap beyond my hand, then you can sit on the throne of heaven."
Ha! Easy. I accept your bet. Get ready to greet the new Emperor of Heaven.
And with that, Sun Wukong gave out a hoot and leapt with all his might, with all the powers he had gained, with all the strength he could muster. He zoomed through clouds and over mountains, across the wide oceans, and up to the stars until he finally arrived at the deepest edge of the universe, where he found 5 great gaseous clouds of stars and cosmic dust, kind of like the Milky Way, like 5 great pillars. And there, just so all would know, he left his mark. And with that, he returned back to the center of Buddha's palm, feeling victorious. The Buddha smiled at him. He smiled a lot. And with that, he began to close his fingers around Sun Wukong, who spun around as each joint bent, and then he saw it, his mark on Buddha's finger.
I never left.
And with that, Buddha's hand closed, and Sun Wukong was alone in the darkness. The legend says he remained there for 500 years, pondering over his life. And then one day, in that darkness, appeared a small light, a light coming from within Sun Wukong himself.
I thought I was independent of everyone and everything. I was not creative, I was acquisitive. I was not rich, I was not breaking rules, I was trying to rule. I am not a god, I am a thread woven into the universe.
And with that realization, he freed himself, not from the universe, but from the illusion of separation. He had finally earned his name, Monkey Awakened to Emptiness. Despite what those with power want to believe, you cannot win the game of life. You can only play, and you should play as long and as fully and with as many as you can. So may it be.
And you can make your own trickster at home this week. With that, Michael?
We will now take the offering. Givings in the offering plate and pledging are how we steward this community. So please, if you're willing and able.
You can also pledge by your phone if you use the QR code on the back.
For the offering, there are countless other ways to serve our community, build our community, and share our love with the rest of the city. I'll read those, but first, if you'd please join me in reading the italicized offering acknowledgement in your order of service. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. And now we will have our spotlight announcements. I'll give it to Anne first.
Hi. The fundraising team had planned to take family photos today, like Easter photos, tradition we had way back when. The weather's not really cooperating, but I think I found a backdrop, just the little covered archway right outside the coffee area. So we're going to try to make that work. So if you're interested in having your photo taken for a small donation, there's a sign-up sheet there at coffee, and I'll figure it out. Thank you.
And Eileen is serving. You want to come up and do this? Okay, good. I thought she was fixing coffee, but she's a trickster. She can do everything.
I'm sorry, you could have made the announcement also.
That's all right. I'll run you.
Hey, everybody. So, one of our fellows, who can't be here today, I hope I don't massacre his last name, Henry Germain. Okay, McCarthy, thank you. Has organized a silent peace vigil that'll be happening this Monday. That's April 6th. The event is small and short. It'll go from 5 to 5:45. Some of us will arrive early. It will be at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, which is at MLK Jr. Boulevard and Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. It's an accessible circle, walkways in the neutral ground. The RTA bus number 91 goes there. We'll have a couple of marshals just to keep the sacredness of the silence, pass out information. There will be probably a medic or people with medic trainings, but it's a very peaceful and silent protest. It's in tandem with some international event I don't know that much about, but would love to see you there. If you need any more information, I'll be available in coffee hour. Thanks.
And finally, from Linda Wren, there is an upcoming Sacred Reckonings online training beginning the evening of Friday, April 17th. The 5-session training series opens with an intensive time on April 17th through the 18th, and then continues for the final 3 shorter sessions. If you are curious about how to be involved in the reparations work at FUUNO with members of the anti-racism team, you are welcome to join. The cost will be covered by the anti-racism team. A flyer is on the bulletin board at the back of the chapel. Speak to a member of the anti-racism team. Could you raise your hand? All right. To learn more or to see Linda Wren to discuss registering for the workshop.
These announcements and all of the others can also be found on your phone or other device by using the QR code on the back of the disorder of worship for today, but also the order of worship every other days. And one of the things you'll find at the top of this now is just a quick link for feedback. The worship team was just talking last week that we would love more feedback. What do you like? Who might you want to have come visit and speak from our pulpit? What do you think we should be doing? What's missing? But also, would you like to volunteer? Would you like to join the choir or the worship team or something else? You can do all of that by clicking on that little button. So not just this week because I'm reminding you, but hopefully week in, week out. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
All right, please rise in body or spirit and join us in doing the chalice extinguishing that is in your order of service.
Misprint in the order of service. It's number 1024 in your teal hymnal, not 124. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
You've got to do when the Spirit says do.
dance.
You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you've got to dance, oh Lord. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 Spirit says dance.
You gotta laugh.
You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. When the Spirit says laugh, you've got to laugh, oh Lord. You've got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. 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 Spirit says laugh.
Shout, 2, 3.
You've got to shout when the Spirit says shout. You've got to shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you've got to shout, oh Lord. You've got to shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Spirit says do.
As we prepare to head out into the world, it's time to make what John Lewis called some good trouble. Bring the trickster energy with you to resist that which diminishes life and to reveal the emptiness of domination, its fragility, its need to be believed in order to endure. But don't forget to cultivate the trickster within, who plays and brings joy, who creates without fear and invites people into relationship. Remember, we are not outside the web of life. We are within it, shaped by it, responsible to it, sustained by it. When we resist with clarity and play with intention, we do more than oppose what is wrong. We help create something ongoing, something shared, something alive, something still and always becoming. So may it be. Amen. Blessed be. Please greet your neighbors as friends and join us for coffee, and have a wonderful day.